Nice to see you too. I was in Salt Lake City for about almost 3 weeks.
Oh, wow.
It is so hot. I just came home on Wednesday.
All right, okay, let's start. We'll start.
Okay.
Good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're coming from. Ladies and gentlemen, Tongan pro athletes of today's and yesterday, welcome to our conversation with our Tongan pro athletes. We are honored to bring to you some of our athletes to have a conversation, get to know them, and to find out what it takes to become a pro athlete, their commitment, their sacrifice, their preparation, mental toughness, hard work, and determination, in hopes that we learn from them about their journey and what it takes to become the athlete they are. But before we start, I want to ask every member of the Tongan Pro athletes of today's and yesterday to please invite 2 to 3 people. That's all we ask. If you like what we are doing, please invite 2 to 3 people to our page. Also, you can go to YouTube and type in Tongan Pro Athletes, and you will find all of our conversation there with all our pro athletes. Our guest today is Inoke Afeaki. He's a rugby union footballer, and his position is a lock. Afeaki played for the Wellington Lions, the Hurricanes, the Seacom, Rico in Japan, and the Scarlet in Wales. He captained the Tongan at the 2003 Rugby World Cup. Internationally, he made his debut for Tonga in 1995 against France in the Rugby World Cup. He also played for Tonga in 2001, 02, and 03. Since retired, he's been coaching, and he's also coached the Igaletahi. Okay, I want to just welcome you to our conversation. Just wanted to we are honored to have you today, this morning, to come on and have a conversation with us. This is just a conversation just to get to know you, see where you're at with your life today and what you were doing in the rugby world. And just want to ask if you can come on in and introduce yourself. Let us know about you a little bit, and introduce your parents, where they from in Tonga, or what village are they from, and after that we'll continue from there. But welcome to our conversation.
Yeah, thank you, Bill, for that warm welcome. Yeah, no, I couldn't sort of feel, apart from sort of feel some emotion. You're describing me, but you were describing my parents, and all those qualities that you just rattled off is it's because of the people around you, eh?
Yes.
So yeah, malo atu get our host today. I've met Carlo in Auckland a few times with rugby and academia. So she's been an inspiration for many of us Tongans in New Zealand, and she's still at the forefront. Eh? So if anything, I think I've got it on my Facebook profile. I'm just a product of amazing people around me. So I'm very average in everything until I'm in an environment that people take time, talk to me and ask me what I want to do, and they jump in and take me through a bit of an introduction on how things are done. So that's I'll go out we go try mo tamai no help me help by it on there. So mum's family go Kapa. So my granddad was Saya Kapa, married to Mele. So I've got some family here in New Zealand. Gus Mealy's over in in America. So we're spread out on that side of the family between America and New Zealand and Hawaii. Dad's family, Afeakis, are quite well renowned for their academia, right? The lawyers and high achievers. So I get, when you grow up in a group that are high achievers, it's not that you're scared by it, but it becomes more normal. So even for a young kid to see people that are lawyers, accountants in Parliament, you think, oh, it's just another job. Dad was a plumber, and I spent time with him on his jobs on the holidays, and that to me was a job and a worthy job. And I'm back in the construction industry right now, so I've done full circle. Dad is smiling that that I'm on the construction site. So I don't pretend that I know the work. I'm doing a bit of admin and looking after the health and safety of the workers on site. So to me, that's more the rugby skills that I have there. I'm watching out for people. I want the best for them. I want them to go home safe, and just giving them the environment so they can work. So that side of it is that's from just working hard and being open to work wherever you need to work. And again, that's the story of my dad, coming out to New Zealand as a plumber, helping to build. My uncle Andrew Sidani Alolio Afeaki was a student here at Victoria University back in the 70s, 60s. So he married a Māori girl. So he's the head of the family, so he's the chief of the Afeaki. And so Dad came out to help build, with a few other cousins, to build his house in Wellington, and that's how our Wellington journey started. We came a year after that. Nice. So that's a little bit of a backdrop of what how it started. But if anything, I just want to, if we just make this talk about all the similarities that all us kids are having in different countries, right? And basically, you surround yourself with good people that are supportive. And then on the flip side of that, you've got to try and figure out ways to remove yourself from environments that are not good for you. So those are probably the two talking points that I'd like to chat about today.
Okay, we can do that. Definitely.
Were you born in Tonga, or were you born in?
Tonga Bear. So
okay.
So it's
so we all fluent in Tongan then.
Fluency when it comes out is a hard one for me. It's I've always been bad of languages. So even when I came to New Zealand, I couldn't speak English for a long time. So I'm one of those people that's good at one language at a time.
No, that's
get a shot of beer, bro. It's just I've just got to loosen up there. So I can understand. I can reply if I really want to. But
So can you just go over, give us a little bit of history about you, how you started in rugby?
Well, again, that's an awesome story. So Dad played for the Igaletahi. He would have toured New Zealand and Australia back in the early 70s, the 71, 72 groups that were coming over. So in amongst that, you have Pira Latini's dad, Totai Kefu's dad, and amongst that group. And then that continues over the years. They were that batch, this early 70s batch. And this is the period when they were beating the New Zealand Māori, etc. So they would link up with people on networks here that obviously wanted the guys, those good players, to come back and settle. And then Dad got an option to come over here and build a house in Wellington for his first cousin. And a year later, we were flying over as a family. So that happened pretty quick. So the rugby started because Dad was a Igaletahi before they called it the Igaletahi.
You have to follow Dad's footsteps.
Oh yeah, biggest hero in anyone's world is their dad. So and uncles. So I had Inoke Afeaki, who's the father of who is it out in See, mind block. A little cousin in Australia. Oh, he's going to kill me for not remembering his name this early in the morning. Rodney Blake, Ben Afeaki, who played for the All Blacks. So there's a rugby pedigree. Adam, got Adam Coleman, eh? Adam Coleman's dad, Paulolo Afeaki, eh? Wiha Hapai heritage. So that's I think rugby is just in our blood, in our culture. Yeah. It's fast swapping over to rugby league. And look, I love rugby, but I love rugby league. And if rugby league looks after our people better, let's go to rugby league. So it's whatever's best for our people.
So, what do you think about what's going on with the Tongan team now? It's in the union. Let's just jump to that. So.
Oh yeah, we're good. That's a big jump, eh? Let's go back to talking about my family.
I think a lot of people. I think a lot of people want.
Yeah. Hey. That's behaving like a family as well, you know. So we have what I see, and I spent 3 years back in Tonga, is the political. I'll say the political game, because it's just a game, and if you learn it, you know why people are doing things. So the political game, so the family, everyone has their family, and everyone has 50-50 split of some being pro Royals, some being pro Democratic, some being just really sort of calm and wise and saying, look, why don't we just do what's the best for the country? Let's listen to both. Let's sit down. Let's see at all the similarities about what we want, and let's put that down, and let's aim for that. So that, you know, if more of those people in the middle can calm people down, say, hey, we hear you, we hear your pain. Just let's put it on paper, black and white. What are the things you want to work on? So all the problems always happen on the edges, eh? Those are the noisy ones. So the noisy ones on the edges are causing trouble. They tend to come from Hawaii. Have you noticed that? All the troublemakers come from Hawaii. So, yeah. So we're good at that. Maybe because we are in between the two islands, the two main islands, we cause all this mischief, eh? Yeah. Where, we can sell there, sell here, and cause division or cause unity. So we have to be on that second part. We have to cause unity. That's why I love sport, because we all come together and we have one product, and that product end day is making our people happy. And Mate Tonga guys did that so well. So that should be their priority, and we should remind them that that's their priority. The priority is to work together, stay in the middle, look after the people that are really doing the hard work. The ones that are lazy, let's give them a kick on the bottom. The ones that are doing really successful, let's congratulate them and remind them that they have to give back to the community. So that's, there's all those dynamics, and we just have to appreciate what is the end game for each one of them. Let's jump to maybe something that people probably don't like me for, is that I was trying to hold Pao Vunipola accountable when he was being a really bad CEO / vice president / chairman for Tonga Rugby Union. And I grew up with Pao here in Wellington. He was here for over 10, 15 years, maybe before he left. My older cousins are really good friends with him, best friends with him. So again, the dynamics there just ended up being politics. His end game that I saw clearly is that he wants to be in politics later. He's okay with kicking me when I was telling him that he needed to stop doing what he was doing, but he didn't care. At the end of the day, politics is going to put money in his pocket later on, and my job, like I've done in sport all the time, is just call out people for bad behavior, and that includes people calling me out for bad behavior. So with calling each other out of bad behavior, you eventually come somewhere where you actually look back and say, I'm happy where I am, but we've still got some things to work on. So that's where I think Tonga rugby and the society just needs to keep listening to people that can call people out. And how can we be better? Don't stop calling people out. I think that's maybe that's the one thing that Tongan culture don't like, that we've picked up overseas. we know we're the guys that are overseas and the girls that are overseas have picked up a culture that it's okay to question, okay to call people out for
Yes.
bad behavior, and
Yes.
okay to say, okay, I've made a mistake, I'm going to fix it. You give me you watch me closely and tell me if I'm heading in the right direction.
Yeah.
So that's the one beautiful thing we've got from the other cultures that we've, which I found hard coming back to Tonga, is that I'm always told to Inoke got Tonga, right? You know, if I may go here.
Yeah.
I was saying, well, why not? Why can't we?
Yeah.
Why
Yes.
can't we stop hitting our ladies? Why can't we stop doing stuff that's really bad? You know?
Yeah.
Yeah. So
Right.
it's so that's the message that I got for anyone that is doing what they're doing to that hurts Tonga, is that I know your end game, or I'm going to find out about your end game, but let's talk about it. We can still get there. You can still do well in politics, but what we have to try and do is change the culture of how we do things, so we make things better for the guys that are doing the real hard work. So it's the conversation. I'm still not blocked on his Facebook friends list. So it's it's okay. It's okay. I think you to move forward, you've got to ask tough questions. You've got to make people upset. Let's just keep coming back to the table when we can, and just seeing how far we've moved. Yeah.
I think
Okay.
it's an important point that you brought up, Inoke, because Tonga, we're obedient culture. You know, especially
Yep.
when we look at sports history, it used to only come from one source under one leader, Whanelahi, the king. And so, it seems like if we were going to look at history, that we seem to be better at sports when there's only one leader and one voice. When we have a democratic and many voices, to, like you say, the edges are making a lot of noise, no supporting of the people in the middle, and we just haven't mastered it yet, so.
Yeah.
But I
And
think
lots of,
that's
I
the thing,
agree.
isn't it?
I agree. Lots of countries haven't mastered the democratic process, and even the
Right.
democratic process is flawed. And, we don't want to say it's a bad thing, because if you get the right people involved, it's good. But if you get the wrong people involved, it's broken already. So it's so I think we've got to make our own version of democracy. And I think we've got to, again, it's for us, and we've got to be the loud ones. We can't listen to the village idiot telling us what to do. We just can't. We say, hey, shh, get back in the bush.
And that's another important thing that you said, is the understanding the political game, because you've got that running alongside the game as the sport. It's holding people accountable, and people like yourself, you're a voice for many people that can't speak up against our leaders, that don't have a chance to hold people accountable. And then we have people like you that, you are the sacrificial lamb. So
I don't mind. It's if there's probably a character in the Bible that I don't mind being, and I find a champion as John the Baptist. I'm not saying I'm the Messiah. I'm not. But if I can help identify the right people, that's my role. And if I get killed in the process, okay, I've done my job. I think that's it. I think we're going to require a lot more martyrs to point our people in the right direction, not to be corrupted. And that's a horrible word, man. I think even the corrupted people, when we call them out for being corrupted, feel like, you can't call me that. And go, well, you're behaving in a way.
Yes, we can. We just did, huh?
Yeah. So they feel that we've trodden on their toes. And for one thing that I did pick up, and I almost feel for them, is that a lot of everyone in the Tongan system at the moment have gotten to where they are through a corrupt system. And to call them out to step down from those positions, then the whole system falls down. So there's only one way to fix it, and that's from the top. And that's when we had one leader who fixed everything from the top down. So it does require the king. It does require the PM to sit down with the king and draft up a whole new way of doing things and bring in your best minds. Just, I don't know everything. I just go and talk to my best mates that know stuff, and they tell me, oh, show me what you got. So yeah, get your best minds involved and do it from the top down. Because it doesn't matter how many people like me and yourself that pop up and say, guys, fix it. And we go in there and fix it for them also. Within 1 year, it's all back to where it was. So
Are they afraid? Are they afraid of best minds when you're saying that? Are they afraid of bringing people that know what they're talking about?
Corruption.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's afraid. I think it's protecting their turf. It's so all our best people are overseas. There's no doubt about that. All of them are. But you're coming back from overseas and you have knowledge on how the best overseas do it, and you meet your person on the island that does your job. They're not going to listen to you. They're going to just smile and think, okay, you're on my turf now. I do it my way. You just be quiet.
And
then you're thinking,
that's why we're still there.
We got to flip that and say, no, I'm here to help. If that means me bringing you overseas, and that's what I think we have to do more of. Let's just like they do for sports. Our best people that start in Tonga are overseas and have become the best in the world. We're going to keep doing that. Get our coaches, get our people, and the government are doing it, but when they recycle back into the government works, they get shut down. They get told, "This is how we do it in Tonga. Stop what you've learned overseas. It's not gonna work here." But I think over time, we'll eventually change Tonga in how it does its, how it goes about, what processes it uses. And I'm not saying get rid of everything. It's just there's processes that you need to be competitive at world level, and if we want to win at sports or anything, we have to do it at a standard that is much higher, which we're capable of. We just got to put the right people around the guys that need to go out and do the job. So it's and the reality of where we're at in rugby is not all on us. It's the world players as well that are not letting us have our people. With the collectively. The guys like me are making noise to World Rugby, is saying stop being unfair, let us have our people, and so those guys are meant to be calling out our bad sports administrators on the island, but they don't. They just sit there and let us.
Okay, I want to ask you a question on that. I saw your tape where you're talking about the eligibility rules. I want you to tell us more about that, your point, because you and former players from the All Blacks and Samoa are talking about the eligibility. What can we do as a country or as a team to make this, for New Zealand and the bigger tier 1 teams or countries to listen to us and allow our players to come in and represent our little island?
Yeah, that's a very good question. Basically, what I can tell what's not going to work if we sit quiet on the matter.
Yes.
If we don't make any noise, we wait for an initiative to be pushed through to World Rugby's meeting executive board, who meet 3 or 4 times a year. So that their agenda is usually just quite a very few things, but it's if we put something on the table for them to consider about eligibility, somehow it just gets harder to be eligible to play for Tonga every time they meet. So it's not going in our direction. So there might be a subconscious thought pattern in the northern hemispheres that they don't want us to beat them. And I understand that fear, because if we did have our best players, we would beat them, and they know that.
Yes.
But we're just saying, look, well, it's a game that you guys have entered, and we happen to be good at it, and we do contribute to the club professional scene really well. We just keep making noise. We still keep calling them out for being very unfair. And at one stage, slavery was unfair. So a lot of people, it's in the Old Testament, having slaves is okay. It's in the Old Testament. South Africa have got a page open in Pretoria, and in the monument. They took us to the 95 World Cup to show us the temple and how the sun shines straight down to their Bible page that shows them that you're slaves and the ruling race. So that was okay at one time. And the whole world called out South Africa saying, stop it. Slaves are not good. Treating, apartheid is not good. Change. So, and we're just asking all our friends of rugby around the world just to keep making that statement that it's not fair to have our people of heritage to Tonga, Samoa, Fiji, or wherever they come from. They've got heritage. They've got bloodlines that they can trace back thousands of years. Their first language they learned was this language that they of the country they want to play for. Their parents speak it, their grandparents speak it, their uncles and aunties speak it. And you're telling me that they can only play for one country that they've been adopted to? So that's not fair. That's not fair. So, and that everyone on the planet understands what fair is. So we keep telling those guys that are afraid of losing to the Pacific Islanders, afraid of not having access to our best players, is that it's okay. They're going to have to do that work on their own bat with their own kids. And if if our kids want to play for your country, cool. But at the end of the day, they're still Tongan, they're still Samoa, still Fijian, and they're entitled. They've got one entitlement on this planet, is to be close to their people who are the reason they exist.
Yes.
So that's everyone sort of gets it. But
in your comment in that tape, you use the word slavery.
Yeah, it's modern day slavery.
I mean, yes, that's exactly. Can you go into more details on that, please?
So it's the mindset of slavery that you can put your finger on. So let's say a country takes you out of Tonga and gives you 4 years of good coaching. Now you play for their national team and they tell you you're stuck. You are now that new nationality for the rest of your life. So the example I give to people as well, you go to school in a country. Does that stop you from working in another country? No, it doesn't. No, it doesn't. You don't own the person. Right. You don't own the person, and the kid has given you back all those learnings and the performances he's given to you already. The kids played really well for your club and your country already. Anything after that, if you're not paying the kid, let him go back to help his family. It's
right.
So the attitude that you are owned by a country, it's the other way around. You choose to be part of a country. It's just your choice to become a citizen. The country doesn't, it can't be the other way around. And that poaching of citizens, don't start that up, poaching now. And that happened. And it happened. At one time it was okay. One time it was okay to sail over to Ata and steal people from Ata and take them to Australia and South America. Yeah. Right. But now it's not okay. So we're calling them out on that mentality that it's pretty much the same mentality that treats people as non-human commodities, and they need to stop there.
I would like to welcome, today is her debut with us today, Luciane Mokofisi. Also, Coach Siwaki Levi has joined us. So I know, Luciane, you probably have something to say according to what Coach Afeaki here has been talking about. So we'll give you that chance, and then Coach Levi.
Okay. Yeah, I'm thinking about that slavery thing, right. that you play for their whatever team, but then they try to have you stay with them and not play for your country. I think I kind of read, not your tape, but I read somebody who had, talked about it, and, it got me to thinking, why are they doing that? But then that's true what you're saying about slavery. And I think a lot of them are stuck on that mentality that, they own people once they play for them and get paid by them, that they own those people.
I think basically that's what it comes down to, What Coach Afeaki here is saying is You know, yes, we give you our kids to teach and, you know, give them the learning or the experiences that you can teach them. But that does not give you ownership to our kids. You know, they're there for you to teach them and allow them to make that choice. You know, whether they want to play for New Zealand, England, wherever, so be it. But if they so choose to come back and play for Tonga, at least allow them that, because you do not own our kids, is what he's basically saying. So, am I right?
Yeah, you're right. I'll just add to that is that while they're being taught and they're playing at school level and winning the school championships, or playing at club level and winning those championships,
Yes.
that teaching is returned in service during that time that they're playing quality sport and winning championships for those clubs and schools.
Right.
So to make the boys feel that they owe more is a transaction gone wrong. You can't keep claiming off a worker when he's not working for you. You know,
Coach Levi, are you there? I would like to bring Coach on, because he does some of the same things that you're talking about here in a different level. Afeaki. Coach here brings kids from Tonga here into America and have families host them. And at the same time, they're giving, the students are to give the schools their talent, you know, because we bring them here for football and other sports. So Levi, can you please enlighten Coach Afeaki on this? And it's a nice thing for us to talk about, please.
Thank you, Bill. Before we go on, just for your information, for you and Tim, Coach Afeaki and I have been working together for years in Tonga. So I was in their committee, and we did the sports council, and I'm glad that Afeaki is here. Inoke, ever since I came back, I've been trying to tell people the great setup that we had with Ikani and you and so many people. Just to know, as a lot of people don't know what we've been doing in Tonga, Inoke. That remember the last training that we had, where we talk about good leadership, and all the administrative training. And Bill and Tim, that's what Inoke brought to Tonga. We had a week of training every single day, how to become, the management of sports, from coaches to administration, and those things. I don't think most people know. That's what Afeaki had brought into Tonga, and. I just wanted to update you guys on the great things and that while the team that we had, Afeaki, with all those guys going forward, and I was saddened that they canceled the whole thing, of course, with all that training. But I just wanted to say hello. It was nice to see you again and hear your voice. But of course, you are well aware already of what Bill is talking about, what I've been trying to do in Tonga, bringing the kids here. Now that I'm retired, I'm doing this 100% full time. So I'm already setting up scholarships here. Just a matter of when Tonga opens up, so that I can come and start picking up where we left off. Inoke and Bill, we developed that 4-team American football games that was going on in Tonga. It's so nice. I'm not sure if you are gonna ever return, Inoke, but I'm gonna miss working with you. But just so you know, I'm still trying, and of course we're fighting against the whole world, trying to make something going, but too bad we don't have any say, but that's but I'm continuing, like now that I have Bill and Tim and Carol, and Carlo, and so many people now that I've been recruiting here in the States, Inoke. I think whether we have the blessing of the government or not, I think we're going to move on, and work with people what we can and what we're capable of doing. I feel strong now having the backup and from everybody else. And then also I'm retired. I'm returning with Halotingata. Will to go out for a lot of guys that we came for Kingdom Bowl 2002. Our 20-year reunion is coming up.
Wow.
So I'm hoping that Tim Manoa and Bill and all of us will be there if they allow us next year to do a 20-year reunion of the Tongan Gridiron. But
Definitely.
well, regardless of what, we're gonna do it. Like I said, we have a strong team now, Inoke, and whether they approve us doing, we'll find a way, right, Bill and Tim? We'll find a
Yes.
way to
Awesome.
get the talent here, for football and rugby. Back
all,
to you,
all the
Bill.
sports, all the sports.
Yes.
No,
But-
I
wanted to-
love my time with Afeaki. Whenever he came to Tonga, he always found me. We sat down. He told me what he did. It was simply amazing. His level of organization is again at another level. And he, now that he's retired, but more important, the networking that we've got here is something that I think has some real potential. So you've touched base with a big portion of the best minds in sport, not just on the field but off the field. I think that there's a real possibility there. Just what I was trying to make in Tonga is that I needed competent people to look after our sports people that needed to go and train and have the right environment to get better and be close to winning. Where we've got that forum. The forum is here. We're sitting here. We have actually so much more to give, and that's in the practical side, which is what Siaka is 100% about doing. All the talk is one thing. Doing it is the real thing.
Yeah.
So I think that's probably the next step for this forum is put down what your skill sets are, put down your availability of where and when. The coaches say, like Totai Kefu, my role as a manager, I wasn't the coach for the Kaletahi, I was only a manager. So
Yeah.
my role, my capacity as a manager is there was 3 other managers that we had operational at any one time. So that was to build capacity, because we're volunteers. We can't give all because we're not getting paid. But to build the capacity across good people who know the job, they can come in and make sure that our athletes have got what they need to be competitive is the real issue. Our sports associations on the island aren't doing that. The wrong people are in charge. They somehow got there somehow. And if I jump back to the mention of Ikane Taliai, really a big political player for the Patoa. But we sat down and we went through what's important to make our athletes have the right environment. So we put all the politics to the side, and we got some seriously good work done. We upset people on both sides who were quick to give us the kick out and say, beat it. You're not listening to a political game. We love your work and we're going to claim that for ourselves, but you two can beat it. So that was sad. You're saying, look, we're doing this for the country, not for you guys. And you can use it as a political tool if you want. But our job, and we've known for a long time, is to make our people happy. And that should be your job as well. So that was the beauty of sitting down with like-minded sport. It's not, you can put the politics to the side. We're about making amazing people, and they're in our youth. It's not about us, and we just want to get that back so they can do the same thing when it's their turn. And we've got, so
that brings up the fact that you brought up, he's my cousin, Fe'ao Winiporo. And, to me, I too was unhappy with some of the things that he did. And my question is, our new CEO, Peter Hardy, do you think he's the right man for this job?
Oh, he knows the game inside out. He spent a lot of time in Tonga.
Yes.
So to get the paperwork done and get the ticks in the box that World Rugby will finally give us a seat inside the executive committee to vote. It'll be through that guy. And yeah, that's, you know, so my opinions on the type of person he is. He's the right person for the job now. Would I like someone that is Tongan, that knows as much as he does to do the job? Yes, yes. There are plenty of other Tongans that know as much as he does, if not more, to have the job. But he'll get the job done. He's really supportive of Tautai Kefu. So what sport Tautai Kefu didn't have under Fa'au will be different now.
Yes.
So that'll be helpful. Maybe when we had Fa'au being really non-helpful, maybe it made us perform better. Who knows? You know, that might have been a dynamic. But yeah, it's just I just think that we use the right people at the right times. But if we can use our own who'd actually know or really want to give back, great. If there's anything else I'll throw in that is that I don't really care who you are. It's the accountability side that needs to be done and checked.
Exactly.
And if you're not doing the work, you know, a warning or two, then there's the door. And that's the same for me. If there's a lot of things that I've done by just saying, yes, I know how to do it. So you just wing it. You got to wing it to get in and do a job. But if you're not performing to one of the things that you've been asked of you, then someone needs to ask them and say, hey, bro, you're not doing your work. Show me what you've done. So that's the question I was always asking Fa'au, and he's always shrugging his shoulders. And I say, mate, yeah, just find someone else to get the job. You just be the vice president, but get someone else to do the work.
Right.
But it never came to that. It was a political football that he knew that he could they thought they could win more votes with, but you're not going to win more votes when you're not doing your job.
Right.
Yeah, so that's so those are my comments on anyone that's in Tonga Rugby. Is there other people that are better? Probably, but let's check their work. And it's not the winning and losing. It's how many guys have you got on the books? What's your development plan? It's list the many things that we need to measure them on and agree to, and whoever's measuring needs to get in there and keep these people accountable.
That's right. I think at the end of the day, you know, around November, you know, quarterly reports has to come in, and if your performance ain't there, you ain't gonna cut it. So
I agree, and I mean, it'll get me into trouble anyway. But is the PM the right guy to be measuring those qualities? No, he's not. So just go find the right guy to that knows the industry inside out and get him to do the job. They're not hard. There's a lot of guys out there that know what needs to be done.
Yeah.
right.
Okay, I wanted to help in your thoughts on something. I wanted to follow one from Coach Levi's comments, and in his experience of bringing our children and scholarships through from Tonga and getting them opportunities.
Yeah.
Now, we can do that. The truth is, we are not short of providing scholarships and opportunities in the diaspora out of Tonga for it. It's so easy. We're actually bringing out kids out of Tonga through high schools. So it's very quick and it's easy. My issue with that is that we are contributing to the slavery pool, because when we bring the children over for scholarships at schools and scholarships in academies, we tend to lose track of our own children, and we tend to in a sense lose the ownership of them, because their choices not change from national to become an economical choice. And so they need to stay there. And so we lose our kids. So my question is, what do you think, how can we use these pathways to the best of our ability, but retain most of our children?
Yeah, I think that there was one of our players on the Samoan players on that Oceans Apart video that nailed it really well. So we're from a country that doesn't have much money. We're in a world that operates on money. To get anything, we're driven by a need for money. So that they're being pushed to work, and when you're offered money to play for a country, and you get a bit more, you'll stick with that as your allegiance because you're going to get more money, so you can help your people. So that's I think that there's that dynamic is understood because we see it, and that's our actions. Probably the longer term gain or midterm gain from that is that if we can make sure that our kids, not only just on the sports field but in any industry, once they realize that they can get to the top of that industry quite quickly and they are financially secure, then from that position they can help. So that I think not many people know that my older brother Luciano might be watching this. He's way more successful than me. He owns lots of stuff. He's really and so he's partners with guys. Who is it? The UFC franchises that do that stuff and gyms, etc. And there's so many other people that are so successful, and they're in a position now to give back because they've hit the top of their industry and they know how the world works. So we have to get our babies to hit that top of the industry, encourage them to get there, encourage them to manage manage their money really well, so that they then become in a position to give back a lot better. So there's probably hundreds of Tongans that are in that situation now. They want an avenue to give back. So I had people asking me, Inoke, how do I give back? And I said, well, careful where you give back. So that, again, this is the forum. We have the networks. We have the right people with the right heart to get that back to where it needs to be. Mate Mā Tonga did that in their way, so they are pretty strong at saying, we've actually got them everything that you need to make an international team competitive. We don't actually need the Tongan Football League or Rugby Union in there to control it and make it difficult. So that so on that side, William Edwards is still the issue. It's that guy, that one guy is still the issue. The players won't come back. They won't. If he's going to push through that the TNRL is the sole boss of rugby and he's still the chairman, all our best players will say, "Oh, that guy." No, they're not coming back. It's and you got to ask the question why.
Yeah.
And some people know, but William just needs to realize that he's stuffed up. The job is beyond him. It doesn't need to be him, and it's him that's causing the issue. And he's going to get so upset when he hears about this. But William, step out, let someone else do it. Because someone else could probably do it better.
I support you. I like that. I like that. I see a lot of posts that people just chops it down. As soon as it comes up, it's their negativity that comes out first, rather than sit back and analyze the message that's being brought out. Like some of your things that I look at, and I love it, because our people, they claim that they have been with this democracy thing for over 30 years. Really? You guys can't implement it into our country. You had 5 years to do it and never did it. So we are still brand new to this thing, and yet they claim to be experts at being a Democrat. We live here in America. This is a democratic country, and we still don't know how to live and implement things in the way we think and want. Yeah. But the issue that I'm having here is, like I said, some of the things that people say, like what you're saying here, I support it wholeheartedly, but for me to get it out there, you are the only one that can do it, Coach Afeaki, tell me a way that I can get the messages out.
Just keep speaking it. We also keep speaking those talking points, and when people call us out on those talking points, then we've got the detail to break down, and we just say, look, these are the steps we have to do. And if you have trouble understanding it, just let someone come over, or just whatever. Say basketball. Basketball's going for a bit of an issue with its national federation at the time. We've got some serious talent. So it's they need a hand. There's a lot of kids on the island that have got exceptional skill, and they deserve the chance to go overseas and do well. And you know, if somehow through help, we've got to. I don't have all the answers. I'm not going to give you any answers today because my brain's not working. But it's a collective. It's a think tank. You try that little plan out, and if it fails, you know, take note. Again, the learning process. Take note where it's failing, and keep working at it. Because give it a few years' time, you've got something really good. So I just find that the whole process and Tonga they actually have really good constitutions, and amongst each sport, they just don't listen to them. They don't fully read them. They don't fully execute them. So it's again with the democracy thing, they don't fully understand how democracy can work, and what to be careful with. And the guys that are out with the microphone, talking to the public, are just saying the right sound bites, just saying what you want to hear. And they don't tell you how they're going to do it. So I'm all for, I like what you say, but tell me what you're going to fix, and I want to know how you're going to fix it. Not to sabotage it, but I just want to know, the general things you're going to work on, and I want to be able to measure you. If you don't do half the stuff you said you would do, then guess what? Well, you're going to have to move. And I think that's the democracy that I want to see. That's the democracy that happens in work. You turn up to work, and if the boss gives you a list to do and you agree to do it, that's what you do. And if you don't do it, you might find that you don't have a job. So that's the democracy I want to force on all our politicians. You can say whatever you want to say. I'll mark you off on
politics for you.
50%, and we'll keep you. What's wrong with that? That's how work is meant to be done. So our politicians lurching around that, saying, "Oh, that's not how politics works." Yes, it does, because we decide. We, the people, decide how politics works. So they're going to dance around and say, "Oh, no, you can't do that." Well, yes, we can. We can tell you how it's meant to be, and that's how the next politician that we vote in give us a list of what they're going to do, how they're doing. If they don't reach the target, they're out. So I think and Tonga can do that. Why do we have to wait for other countries to do that? Let's show the world that we can measure our people and say, no, you haven't done your job, beat it. I think the king is still a good thing to have. He's got friends all around the world that will come and help us. Having that friendship club at his level, at their level, is amazing. It'll be like saying something that's really, really amazing for a country. Just get rid of it. We don't need it anymore. It'll be like saying the New Zealand, just get rid of the All Blacks. You don't need them anymore. Without the All Blacks, New Zealand is just on the end of the world. Without a king, we don't have that membership to so many things. So keep it. Use it for what it can be used for.
Yes,
and I think that people underestimate or understate the royal family's involvement and following of sport. They're really followers of sport. Some of them study that overseas, including the current king in Bonn University. So of course we've got our late king to go fast. So they're very, big followers of sport. A lot of people don't realize how much they know about sport.
Yeah. And not just for me, not just about sport, it's everything that our kids are good at. And I've got a soccer playing 12-year-old. Oh my gosh. So that's okay.
Let's talk about that. Let's talk about your family, Inoke. Do your kids play sport, or what's your attitude as a professional athlete?
I've got the older 15-year-old, about 6'3". He's basketballing. So I've told him about my cousin Paula Afeaki that played for
Utah.
He was pretty wild. He's got two aunties that play for Australia. and basketball. So there's already a basketball pedigree, eh? So he's
Yes.
so he's living that dream. And we've only been back for about what, a year, nearly 2 years now. So the little one's soccer. Yeah, he's good. He's good. I enjoy watching his game. He's a striker. He scores usually a goal a game. So he talks it up. So he's definitely a soccer player.
There's big money in soccer, so let's try and get him into the big league.
Yeah, well, exactly. Well, I mean, if I grew up in America, man, I would have played basketball. Or something different. I mean, rugby's okay, but it's where we were pushed to. So that's what it was here.
Well, I don't know how tall you are. Paul was what, about 6'11", 6'10", 6'11"?
Yeah.
I mean, he made an impact here.
Yeah.
He made an impact here in Utah. So
Yeah,
great kid.
I was lucky. My first stint in Japan was the same time Paul was there, but so he was playing for Sumitomo Sparks, sort of electrical company, a banking company. So he was there. I was about half an hour away from him. I used to go watch his games, and man, he can play.
Yes.
And he had a knee injury. He couldn't go further.
Yeah.
In America, he could still slam dunk that, and he was freaking going. And it was nice having him at my games in Chichibunomiya Stadium, man. So just this big, loud, booming voice just cheering all non-stop, and the rest of the Japanese crowd very quiet, clapping. Oh, yeah, nice. It was just, and again, I like most of the island boys and most of the Tongan kids, we're just surrounded by other amazing people. So we're going to be successful because we've got a cousin that's successful. We're an auntie that's successful. So we keep work. I mean, this is our job, is to inspire the rest, but we've got lots of inspiration. Again, this forum, I've been wanting to be part of it, but I'm working in a new industry, and I'm still getting used to the after work every day thing. And it's lovely. I'm enjoying it. This industry, the construction industry, is an amazing industry that we have a lot of people involved with, but not at all levels. So this
I told Tim and Carlo that I've been trying for months now to get you on, but you've had a bit of issues with work. So I'm just glad that you finally gave us the opportunity. Afeaki.
Yeah, and on that note, Inoke, how are we going for time, boys? I'm sorry to be the
no, that's good. That's but no, enjoyed the chat. It hasn't really been much on anything technical, but we touched on a few touchy subjects, which is okay.
Maybe if you can go around.
That's what people want to hear, though.
Are you Lucia and Posiba's grandson?
Not grandson. His Osim is his sister, Mateki. I'm her grandson.
Oh, okay.
So dad doesn't technically have the Afeaki name, but Bosima, before Etuate left Tonga, it was Etuate Vaetangitao. Somehow his passport changed to Etuate Afeaki. So I was born, my older brother and dad, our passports read Inoke Vaetangitao. And then,
so Winnie is your auntie.
Winnie is my auntie. Yes.
We were in school together.
Oh dear. Yeah, no, she's the life of the party. She is the life of the party.
Yeah, Winnie and Mayufia. Yeah, I know all your aunties.
Yes, that is me. Yeah. All good.
Coach Levi, would you like to say some closing comments?
Yeah, I'm just glad to see Inoke again. He has done a lot. He made a sacrifice. Some of the insight that people may not know when he left his previous job and what he had, because of his love to Tonga, to return to try to make a difference. So as many of us who's been in Tonga, there's a lot of people who talk about things about Tonga, but there are many of us that have returned, and many years, and try to make it. It's more difficult than it sounds, and some people from overseas can make predictions, make assumptions, but it's a little country that is very political. And, it's very difficult to get anything across. So it's not, I think we got enough good people with ideas, with great things, with love, but there's some hoops that we have to overcome. And, I have to learn it the hard way, and gain a lot of experience and know, a little bit of how to do things. And I just appreciate, I learned a lot from Inoke and some of the great names that I don't want to keep mentioning. Every name right now, I guess people start to categorize them, whether they, political side, so I'm holding on to many of the names that we work together in Tonga, and we kind of know who people, and some people are very humble and quiet. They're not vocal, so they're not being heard. But we know of, and I'm sure Inoke knows what I'm talking about. There's a lot of good quality people with the right purpose and the knowledge and the passion, to do things, and that's what I intend to find. Because anyway, but Inoke, thank you so much for joining us. Your input is very, 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 very good, and thank you for sharing. And I will call. I'll call you, Inoke, and well, I just need to update a few things because after I left, and then you left now, don't know where that whole team is at the moment. But as I was saying, the success that I find with the boys that we brought over, from Tonga and New Zealand and Australia, I think if we continue that and with more people, jumping in, helping out in many different ways, I think share a lot of talent. Like Carlo was saying, when we start bringing people to New Zealand, they're in that whole thing when New Zealand will pick the best of the best and give them a year or two and lock them up. So I just wish that rugby organization, Bill and Tim, would have the mentality of the NFL where they want to grow the game, instead of, kind of keeping it in control where we already know the top 3 teams pretty much every year. It's that way. The format that NFL has to draft team is unique, where the worst team get the best choices to become, to improve themselves, and those are the things that we wish that New Zealand them can use those guys in their prime, and when they let them go, that means they're not the best anymore. I really don't see how they cannot allow them to build the other teams, but that's the concern of all of us, and not sure how it's gonna, ever turn. But in the meantime, we're gonna, do what we can. But yeah, this is but anyway, thank you.
Malo.
Thank you. I'll go
Thank
before
you, Coach.
and Bill finish off with you, Inoke. Just quickly from me, Inoke, it's always good to see and hear you. Thank you so much for imparting your knowledge. We've had such an important talanoa this morning. And hopefully we can get you back into Tonga. I do know personally of the amazing work that you did. And it was crucial for Tonga that, your work that you did in there, and also acknowledging Ikani, he's politically charged, but you and him were a good team, and you produced some really amazing work, some really necessary changes in Tonga. So I just want to acknowledge all that important work, and hopefully we do another 360 and end up in Tonga again with Coach Levi and maybe all of us back there for a secondment of maybe, I don't know, 5 years or something, or forever.
Yeah, I think that's really important that we somehow get these good people involved in some sort of consortium
Yeah.
and put the building blocks of what needs to be done. And I'm happy to share what I know and how things are done. So we got a lot of good minds on board, and that's what we lack in Tonga. Just the guys that implement it. That's all. And as you mentioned earlier, we like being led somehow.
Yeah.
But we're finding all our people across that are being leaders overseas have this leadership skill. But when we go back to Tonga, we're not allowed to lead. Yeah, we've been
That's the
asked by
problem,
overseas to be leaders, and then we come back here, back in Tonga. No,
I find we get asked for information, but we're not allowed to lead, like you said. we can impart information, but we can't lead.
Yeah.
So
That's
normally people like yourself don't really care. You're not really there to lead. You're just there to help.
No. Guide.
And push forward. So thank you for today. It was great. Hopefully we'll see you in person again. And
Yeah, well, Bill, thank you for bringing me on. Sorry for taking so much time, man.
No problem at all.
Thank you.
Tim, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Bill. Finish it up.
Shannon, do you want to say something?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. I think today I was just like a bystander, just listening onto the conversation. So I know what's going on because it's my first time here. So yeah, maybe next time I'll be more of a participant than just a bystander and listening. But
that it'll be Mate Moyakiola next week, Thursday. So you'll have a lot of time to prepare.
About the same time?
7 o'clock Thursday night, Utah time. So
7 o'clock. That would be like 3 o'clock here in Hawaii.
Yes.
Oh, lucky I'm still, school hasn't started.
Oh, good.
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, Inoke, again, it's been a pleasure to have you on this little program. With people like you giving us the chance, it opens up the doors for us. The standard that you're in, we encourage you to continue what you do. Who cares if people don't like it? This is a critical world, and we're always going to be judged by everything we do and say. But I personally want to encourage you to keep on doing what you're doing, brother, because you're an inspiration to all of us and to all our people. And we hope that they do listen, because if we do take the time, like you say, and listen, and instead of being the professional that we all think we are, be an amateur sometime and listen. Be the outsider sometimes, and this is to all us Tongan people. Anyways, brother, keep on what you're doing, and we hope that you'll find some more time to come on with us, and we can do this and help us. Right? This Our Little page, it's been on since July last year, so it's almost a year on the 22nd. And since then, we have been struggling to keep it on. But, like I said, people like you, when you guys say yes, you guys don't know how much it means to us. So if you can help us, get some of your former players and even the current players to come on our show, we'd appreciate it. Ofalaya Inoke, and best of luck to you and your family. God bless. We'll let you finish and then we'll close.
Oh, sweet. No, it's you guys are doing a wonderful job, giving us a forum to just talk openly. I've mentioned a few names that might get them into trouble, might get me into trouble, but I'm of the mind that you just got to be open at times, just to just say it how you see it,
Yes.
and open it up to someone else and say, "Hey, Inoke, are you sure about that?" So That's it. It's the way I see the world, and that's my perspective. You know, I'm happy for people to call my bad behavior out, and and that's the culture I grew up here in New Zealand. People keep telling me what I was doing wrong, and it was the other way around. I can call people out as well. So I'm pretty sure that's the one thing that I picked up overseas that's really helped me. Just love what you're doing. I think the next challenge is that we got this forum. A lot of good ideas are shared. The next step is to follow the lead of Mate Matonga and get the sporting teams surrounded by good people. And regardless what's happening on the island, we do the work for that group, for those kids that are wanting to play for Tonga, and we give them the chances to compete at the highest level. Because my 3 years in Tonga, you need a good group on the island to get that done. And the reality is, no, it's not going to happen. There's too much distraction. So let's continue getting some of the good babies off the island as fast as possible, put them through the machine overseas, go represent Tonga. So I feel sorry for the kids on the island until they sort out their mess. I was unceremoniously dumped out of Tonga. And I was like, guys, I just won you guys 29 medals. You guys haven't done this in ever. Why are you getting rid of it? But it was all political. It was just like, guys, okay, I'll go. But one promise from you guys, if you can, not you guys, the politicians in Tonga, if they can beat the record of 29 medals that we did in 3 months' work and careful planning, good. If not, get out. Leave it to people that know. So that's the challenge I put on them. If they're going to close down what wasn't a perfect sports council, it needed work. I believe, so I'm going to drag this a little bit longer. There's a bill being proposed right now that they're passing through Parliament. I believe William Edwards has drafted that up. Look at it carefully, because I believe what he's pushed is that each national federation owns that sport, regardless what the world body says. Who owns that sport on the island? And it'll be like the Catholic Church Diocese in Tonga telling Rome, Vatican, shut up, we're doing it our way, because we're the Catholic Church in Tonga. And I'm thinking, no, that's not how you behave. You listen to your bosses overseas, and if they tell you you behave badly, they might ask you to move and get someone else that can do the job. So I think that's a careful one to look through, that I think is flying under the radar. And just call out bad behavior when you see it. That's all.
Yeah, that's good. Tim, go ahead and wrap us up before I close it down, please, Tim. You're on mute, Tim.
Unmute.
You're on mute, Tim.
Mute.
There you go.
You know, I'm not in the politics, and I'm not in the rugby. Don't know much about the rugby. But you know, thank you for coming on here and giving us some information on what's going on in the rugby world. You know, I'm a football guy, American football guy. So, but thank you very much for taking the time to come on here and have a conversation. Like Bill said, you know, it's just our platform is just to have you guys come on and talk about issues and talk about good things, bad things, whatever it needs to be talked about. And hopefully there's people listening to what we have to say in our conversation. And hopefully there's, you know, the future's it's bright for our Tongan kids. And that's all we wish for, is for them to do well, and for our country to back us. Some of the minds, the good, you know, the minds that knows a lot about what we talk about, you know, but hopefully things will work out for everybody. So thank you for coming on. Appreciate it.
Okay.
Bye, guys. Bye, Inoke.
Bye.
All right,
Yeah.
Okay. Bye. My Lord,